beauty of Dokkan Battle is there's always something to talk about. And the recent EZAs that came out for Saiyan Day on Global NJP at the same time sparked a bit of a discussion. So let's go ahead and hop into it. What is going on, 5'9" gamers, and welcome back to the 5'9" mobile channel. Now today, like I mentioned earlier, we are going to be discussing what the Saiyan Day EZA units kind of bring to the table. And one thing that I want to talk about is a bit of the counter meta, as what I've been told to call this, right? Talking about the kind of how units are designed with counters within this game. Kind of bring a bit of a problem. So kind of sparking this bit of discussion comes from Sippin' Hot Cocoa on Twitter. Great Saiyan Man 3 came out before the EZA for Physical Super Vegeta and STR Vegeta and Bulma, and these are both, what do these units have in common? They're all counter units. And what do you see here? The oldest unit is the best counter unit of the bunch, right? And that is where the problem comes from. Counter units in this game are not treated properly, in my opinion, and I think a lot of people would be inclined to agree with me. And why I say this just simply comes from the defensive issues, right? Most of the time, what do you expect from a counter unit, right? It's a unit that's going to absolutely tear up normals or tank normals and get torn up if they get supered, and that is the problem. If you're going to make a unit that counters and doesn't take, doesn't do any damage, then why is it that they are unusable offensively, and defensively they have a fatal flaw? Let's go back in time. Let's take a little bit of a trip down memory lane, right? Let's think about one of the marquee Vegito EZAs for a super unit, right? And this is Physical Vegito Blue. So with Physical Vegito Blue, things are a bit interesting, as he did not... he had the same problem that Physical Super Vegito has, where, he's going to look very, very good defensively when it's not normals, but if it is normals, and if he takes a super, he's going to get lit up. But the problem is that when Physical Vegito EZA'd, the hardest content in the game is Super Battle Road and the Legendary Goku event, where he would be fine. Except for the STR UI phase, and then maybe STR enemies would kind of light him up a bit. But with some of these new units, there's a whole lot more content where kind of like the core gameplay loop, the core gameplay mechanic is what really makes an event difficult is usually 9 times out of 10 the enemy super attack. That is really hard to get around. You don't know which hit is going to be unless you have a scouter unit, and that is where things do get a little bit difficult. And I think that that's worth discussing, as it's a core gameplay mechanic, and I think that these units are kind of designed to counter that. But the problem is these counter units are not doing what you think they'd be doing, right? We talk about countering. Sure, they counter normals and take damage, and do a little bit damage back, but tanking normals, most units in the game now, like new units, they can just tank normals like unconditionally, right? Across the board, unless they're type disadvantaged and didn't build up at all, they're going to be fine with normals. So, there's really no novelty to a counter unit that's not doing any damage, that's taking a lot of damage on a super attack, is not dealing anything back. Because if we go back in time to when STR Vegito was the best unit in the game. What was kind of his trade-off, right? You lost a little bit of that damage reduction in defense, but in turn you did a whole lot of damage back, right? And he still does do a whole lot of damage on counters, because those crit counters could still hit for like 2.5 million. So if he does like 5 of those and they all crit, and he's not taking a ton of damage, that's 10 million, what is that? 25 times 5, 12.5 million damage right there, right? So if he were to do 5 of them, they all crit, you're doing that much damage. So almost 13 million damage. You also have this kind of idea that it's a trade-off, right? Because with this Vegito, when you transform, you get a scouter. So you don't throw him in the super slot. You kind of find a spot for him where he's not going to take that super and get lit up. Because, again, he loses the defense, but he also gains a defensive ability. And that is where the problem comes in with Physical Super Vegito, is you bring this unit around to tank normals, but you can't find the super because he does not have a scouter. AGL Vegito does have a scouter, so I'd almost say you almost want to run AGL Vegito, right? But still, if you're going to have a one-sided unit like Physical Super Vegito, then I think that has to be something that we talk about. It's if he's going to be one-sided, then just make him one-sided, right? When you have a unit that is his only utility is to tank normal attacks, I think that's a problem. As it's just the game has evolved so much, and these units that come out and new releases have evolved so much to the point where a unit that takes normal attacks for double digits is not a rare commodity. However, a unit you can park in slot 1, can take supers just fine, doesn't really do damage, but is a beautiful tank. Think about a unit like Tech God Goku and content that he's designed for. He's perfect, right? Like Red Zone Broly, he is a absolute ace in Red Zone Broly. Like, he doesn't take damage. He's a nice linking partner for the LR Gods, who at the time were the best unit in the game for that stage. And it's just, that's how you want to do it, right? So it's just like, there's no way he can take damage. But let's think about an event for physical Super Vegito, like the new Shadow Dragon event. If he does a super attack comes, he's just dead, and that's it. And I think that is a bit of a problem. So it's just frustrating. And this is just kind of like a tangent that I'm going on at this point. But I say we mentioned new EZAs, right? But STR Vegeta and Bulma are the same thing, right? If you want to reference this tweet, his singular attack stat is literally higher than the 2 units mentioned combined, not to mention the defense, right? Almost kind of reading it word for word. 7.367 is the attack stat, so it's basically 7.37 million is the attack stat for Great Saiyan 3. And that is more than this Rage Vegeta and Vegito have combined, by the way. 2 2023 releases, not like new units, but EZAs. They don't combine for 7.3 million as an attack stat. Let's think about that for a second. Let's think about last year's Part 2 Kaioken Goku, who literally spawns in, he's fighting a Vegeta. Okay, he's doing 19, maybe not 19, but like 15 million for free. And that's it, right? And let's think about 2 in EZA that came out a year later in Physical Super Vegito, who's doing like 2 million and can't tank supers. So it's like your offense sucks, your defense is suspect, and if you get hit with a super, you're dead. At least with Physical Vegito, the offense was off the charts at the time, right? Just the amount of damage he was able to do with the counters, with the additional attacks, everything that Vegito was doing was just like mind-boggling. And it is the opposite case for Physical Super Vegito, and it's just so frustrating because you know, we're sitting here talking about how units are doing so much and taking so little nowadays, and we have this EZA that comes out in that same time period, and he's just nowhere near where he needs to be. Because Physical Super Vegito was one of these EZAs that everyone was talking about, everyone was excited about, like talking about how Physical Super Vegito was one of the most anticipated EZAs, myself included. I had him rainbowed, I had him link leveled like a year in advance. I was ready to go for the Physical Super Vegito EZA, and he sucks. And he came out along some really, really, really good EZAs. We think about Kaioken Blue Goku, the attack buffs that he can, or the attack stats that he can put up now. And whenever that U17 gets buffs, he's going to be one of the best TURs in the game, right? Still one of the craziest EZAs. We look at AGL Gogeta Blue, who is just a god now. We look at the LR EZAs that came out during the 8-year. We talk about the 5-year EZAs. We talk about LR Spirit Bomb Absorb Goku. We talk about STR Super Buu. All of these units got a nice glow up to the point where they're usable in almost all endgame content. And then you just have this Physical Super Vegito who sucks. And this STR Rage Vegeta that is also not exactly anything to write home about. So it makes things really frustrating. So how would I fix this? I guess how we'll end this. Just if you're going to make a unit one-sided, make them one-sided. Physical Super Vegito can't do any damage, but he can take anything. He can take supers. The damage reduction's still there. If you just keep that damage reduction on the super, he's still going to take a lot from one, but it's not going to be a point where it's just instant death if he takes a super like it is now. So let me know down below what you guys think. Maybe there was a little bit of a mistake with passive reading in here somewhere. I'm not sure, but let me know down below. Don't forget to leave a like if you did enjoy. And subscribe to the 5-9 mobile channel so you don't miss on any of this type of Dokkan content. If you guys like hearing from me, you can go ahead and check me out on my personal channel. It is at Villify. Same as what you'd see here. I do Dokkan content and basically kind of cover a lot of similar topics that we do on here. This is where kind of the creative comes out, but I do a lot of gameplay related stuff for Dokkan. So thank you guys for watching. Do all the things that I said below. It's been a pleasure hosting for you. Have a great day, and I'll catch you guys next time.